Hello, I'm Kimberly Powell, and this is Showbiz Mums, a podcast about mums working in theatre and how they juggle the chaos of parenting plus an 8-show week. We'll cover birth stories, pregnancy, and postpartum in the theatre industry, and discuss how to maintain a career whilst having kids, or at least trying to. We'll also open up the conversation of job sharing and why that can be beneficial. So join me as we speak to some amazing theatre parents and get some advice on this pretty niche subject matter, but something I'm really passionate about. Welcome back to season 2 of Showbiz Mums. Thank you so much for joining me. We've got guests with a variety of experience in different areas of the industry, and we're kicking off today with a sound engineer and her experience raising 3 children. Now, there's a few episodes here that I did a couple of months ago, so any references that are a bit out of date, please forgive me. Thanks for listening and enjoy the episode. Today, I'm speaking to Lucy Williams. Lucy has been working in theatre and broadcast for 17 years, specialising in sound for the last 15 of them. Her work has taken her through the worlds of opera and the West End, the Royal Albert Hall, the Globe Theatre and the RSC. She's been a familiar face at the National for the last 12 years, working on productions such as Jane Eyre, Pericles, Dear England, London Road and Ballet Shoes. She's been everything from number 1 backstage to number 2 mix cover, radio mic engineer, radio mic supervisor and technical support. Now, Lucy has 3 children, and we first got chatting as she was about to embark on a flexible working plan at the National. As in her words, the rigorous schedules, the antisocial hours and commitments of theatre became deeply compromised when paired with parenting. And I think we all agree with her there. So I'd love to know how she's been getting on. So hi, Lucy, how are you?
Hello, hi.
How's it
Hi.
going?
Yeah, good. Good. It's that time of night where I've just palmed off the children, so I'm enjoying myself.
Right there
actually.
with you. Yeah, here we are.
Yeah,
Let's have a chat.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
you just finished up the Olivier's at the weekend.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
how did that go?
It was lovely. It's a job I do every year, and it's the same team. It's the same audio team every year, which makes it a really nice little celebration, actually. And sort of, it's one of those gigs that doesn't really feel like work, despite it being probably my busiest job of the year.
Sure.
So I love it because I get to see all my friends.
Great,
Yeah,
perfect.
it's great.
And so going to that flexible working that you were talking about, so how did that come about? Obviously, you've been at the National for a while.
Yeah. So do you know what? I really want to sing their praises on this one because I first started at the National in 2015, which was before I had any of my children.
Right.
And so I was working there when I had my first. So they were the people who gave me my first maternity. They were the people who supported me through coming back from maternity, which, oh gosh, must have been hard work because I was a bundle of mess. But actually, but I flitted in and out. I've sort of nipped in and out on fixed term contracts or on casual contracts or broadcast, freelance stuff there for all that time. And then in November 24, me and my partner, Paul, decided to completely mix things up, and he was going to be the stay-at-home parent and I was going to go back to work full time. I'd been saying no to such wonderful people who, bless their hearts, kept ringing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going, no, I've had another baby, or no, I'm still at home and I'm freelancing a bit, but no. And I went, right, I'm just going to send an email to everyone and go, I'm back. Let's see what responses come back. And the National were in touch within quite literally 15 minutes going, we need someone for 3 months.
Oh, wow.
And I looked at Paul and went, this is going to work. So he quit his job, and that 3 months turned into, well, I'm still there. So it was just extended and extended.
Yeah.
But the turnaround of shows there, and the fact that we do the NT Lives, and I took Nye to Cardiff in the summer, and
Wow.
It was brutal. It was so brutal. And I wasn't seeing my family. And, my youngest is 3. And so that felt like I needed to be there for that bit. And my eldest is 10. So he's sort of tipping into the next bit. And I just needed to be there more. And so I said to them when they asked if I wanted to do a 12-month extension. So my contract was up at the end of March this year. And I said, I would, but can we talk flexible? And their response was literally, you send us an email about your perfect scenario and we will get as close to it as possible.
Wow.
I mean,
incredible.
And I was like, how else, who else is going to do that except an entity as big as the National? And it was amazing. And so I just said, I'd love to do less of the show running, but I can still open the shows for you. because I feel
Brilliant.
like that's where my strengths are and that's where I'm useful to you still.
Yeah.
So we've landed on me doing the 4 tech periods between now and this time next year, and going down to 2 days a week in between, just to cover other people's days off.
Okay, great. Yeah,
So,
that
and
makes
it's
sense.
wonderful. So I've reduced my hours by maybe, I think it's 45 down to 39, but over an average. So I'll do a 70-hour, 60-hour tech week, and then just do Wednesdays and Saturdays for the duration of the run.
Wow. Yeah,
Right?
great gig. Nice.
Right?
Yeah, so you've got to be there for the tech. That
It's
makes
great. Yeah.
sense. Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
yeah.
lovely because that's fun anyway, isn't it? And
Yeah,
you know there's an end point. If I'm not
yeah.
seeing them for 3 weeks, if I'm going, yeah, mummy's leaving again today. Yes, mummy's working Saturday. Yes, she's not going to see you, or staying in London just because the commute is easier that way or whatever. I know I can say, but in 3 weeks, in 2 weeks, I will be at home. I will
Totally.
pick you up from school, and that makes the whole thing mentally infinitely. Just a whole weight is lifted. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I bet. Oh my
Yeah.
God. So is your partner in the industry as well? Or was he?
He
I mean,
was,
yeah.
yes, he was. So he
Okay.
was a red-coated butler for Andrew Lloyd Webber when I
Oh,
met
yeah.
him.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was sort of very high up the
Yeah.
hospitality chain there. So
Nice.
I met him in his little dicky bow and red waistcoat when I was like 21, and opening my first show in London. And then he moved into theatre management.
Okay.
And then during the pandemic started managing a Pizza Express,
Oh,
because
great.
we all did something
Yeah.
new, right, in the pandemic, and just stayed there.
Okay.
He was
Okay.
closer to home, and it worked until it didn't. Yeah, but he wasn't around any more than I am, so
Well,
you know,
true. Good point.
hence the the juggle.
Well, how interesting, though, having the conversation to then say, right, let me go back and give it a bash full time, just to try it and then
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so when you first got pregnant, so it was, what, about 10 years ago, do you say?
Yeah, I was 20. I was quite young. I was 25, so that's young for this industry.
That is, yeah, really young.
Yeah.
Was it planned?
Yeah. No.
Oh, really?
No, it was very wanted, and I'm
Yeah.
a little bit wary of talking about this because I know
Yeah.
how hard people try, and I know the difficulty people go through. We'd been together for, as I say, I was 21 when I met him, so we'd been together a nice chunk of time. It was something we wanted. We had a dog by then, we had a puppy, so
Yeah.
it was all in the plan, but just not quite then.
Bit
But
early.
actually, I was on a full-time contract, which
Okay.
you never are as a freelancer.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a beautiful thing, really. It was a
Yeah.
happy, but I am wary of talking about it because I know it's delicate for a lot of people,
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
It's one of those things. I'm very lucky and we don't take it for granted,
Yeah. It all fell into place, though. So
It
then
did.
when you first got pregnant, were you working on a show at the time?
Yes, so I was opening Jane Eyre for the National.
Right. Okay.
And and it was my first big operational #1 job as well. So they clashed. I'd done a lot of #2. I'd done a lot of mixed cover, but I'd never programmed a desk before.
Okay.
So it was quite a baptism of firsts, I guess.
Why does that always happen? I always feel like that's the way.
Right?
I got my big promotion. I was the understudy, then I got the part, and then the same month found out I was pregnant. Like, I feel like
Maybe
it
it's
seems to
hormones,
happen.
it's
Yeah.
endorphins. Do you know what I mean?
People can
It's
feel it, and
everything
they're like,
working in the right way. Yeah.
yeah, mental. No, okay. So then, how was the pregnancy first time round?
Again, it was great.
Yeah, great.
It was lovely. Like, I was fairly healthy. My job was very physical anyway. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I really enjoyed being pregnant. And I was so, because I'd not read any of the books, I'd not done any of the prep. I just sort of went, yeah, la, 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 la.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
all worked out for the best. And I felt mighty. I felt so powerful.
Yeah.
And I'd spent my whole working life, because I'm not a performer, I've spent my whole working life working around people who look absolutely gorgeous. Like, all of them are athletic and tanned and, performers. And you learn very quickly to accept that you're not quite like that.
But can I
There's
just say
about,
to
like,
people that are listening and not watching, though, that you are also very beautiful with
very
incredible
kind.
long luscious hair.
My hair, very unwashed. I think it's the light, but
You look
yeah.
gorgeous.
Thank you. But
I
it's a
appreciate
figure
that.
thing. And as a
Yeah.
21, 22-year-old,
Right.
being around West End dancers, you learn very quickly that it's okay, because I was quite muscular in a different way. I could
Right.
lift a speaker and pull it into the air, but I
Totally.
couldn't do the pirouette,
Yeah.
And so being pregnant was suddenly this acceptance of like, God, look at you. Look what you're doing. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And I felt that every time, just mighty. It's great.
Totally. Oh, how
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah.
So how long did you work until in your first pregnancy?
So it worked out quite nicely because Jane Eyre was due to close in the January anyway, and I had my son in the March, so I just ran out the show and didn't open the next one.
Great. I suppose in a way, yeah, it's like shorter. Do you have like a 12-month contract, but you're doing shorter projects at the National,
Yeah,
I guess?
it can be anything really. You can be full time there, but they have a
Right.
lot of fixed term contracts for it. So they'll sort of hire according to what each show requires,
Right.
but extend in-house before they bring anyone. So if you're on a 3-month contract to do a show and the next show is also going to require you, chances are you'll probably stay.
Yeah.
So that's how I only joined for one show and was there 12 months later, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
So I would have gone on to the next show had I not been pregnant.
Okay. Yeah.
So
That makes
yeah,
sense.
I just tapped out after Jane Eyre really. I had
Yeah.
2 months of really calm. I wish I
Maternity.
knew now to make the most of it.
I-
Do you know what I mean? Oh my God.
But going from none to one, I
Mm.
think obviously it's a baptism of fire and it's mental.
Yes.
But I think as soon as you get multiples, you're like, that was a piece of piss.
Right. Right.
Especially you with 3. I don't have 3. I mean, you're
Yeah.
like, it's a whole different story. But
Yeah.
how was your birth?
Oh, it was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it was just, it just happened. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had my sister there and I had Paul there, which felt really cool anyway. It was really nice. And I think with my first one with Toby, I didn't read any of the books. I was like, let's just roll with this. And they sort of knew what my birth plan was ish. But yeah, it just happened. There wasn't as much of the, I suppose I wasn't putting my opinions forward as much. I want to do it like this. I was very nurse led and very midwife led.
Right.
But that felt fine because it all went to plan. I went into labour. Actually, I went into labour on the 29th of Feb, so he was nearly a leap year baby.
Oh, wow.
Which would have been really fun, but he just tipped over.
Yeah.
But I did most of it at home. I sort of went into labour during the day of the 29th and just sort of pootled around because I didn't know what I was meant to be feeling.
Yeah.
So I sort of, and it got more intense, but I was like, oh, this can't be it yet. And then sort of 6 o'clock in the evening, I went, actually, we probably should now. And it's a good job we did because he arrived just after 8. So the hospital bit was really fast and really intense. And I probably should have got there a bit earlier because it was a bit of a mad dash at the end. But actually, even my birth was just it just sort of happened.
Yeah.
And then I had this, I did the thing, which again made me feel mighty, and it was all a bit of a shock. But I did it with no pain relief as well, purely because I got there, tried the gas and air, and it made me feel sick. So I was like, well, I don't want that.
I thought the same
Horrible.
thing. Yeah.
And then I sort of went, well, let's talk about an epidural in case I need it. And by then it was sort of too late. So I just sort of went with it.
Yeah.
And therefore that was the pattern I went with my other 2 births. I have no issue with pain relief. This is not a thing where I think, it just worked for me that I could sort of do it without. Just
I think also being 25 probably helped as well. That I think
exactly.
Well, I don't know if that's true, but no, I feel the same way. Like I was like super up for getting an epidural if it got to the point that I needed one. But a bit like you, I had a quick labour, and if the labour is quick enough, then you're like, it kind of got to the point where I was like, oh, maybe I will, maybe I won't, and then baby came. So there was no nothing against it, but I feel lucky that I had the feeling, even though it's fucking painful. But you're like, oh,
you forget that bit though, don't you?
Yeah, like big time. Yeah, massively.
You forget how painful it actually is. Otherwise, you'd never have any more.
Yeah. Well, even now we've got 2, and I'm like, oh, I could do it again. I was like, no, you don't want to. And I'm like, I did.
I'm like that. It's like, get me some guinea pigs quickly. They don't take up a space in the car.
I know, this is it. Oh, it's just ridiculous. Like the addiction to it. Like I understand what people say when they say it, and I never would have thought I'd be like that. I didn't even think I was particularly maternal. And then now it's become my entire personality, and I'm like, I'm doing a bloody podcast. But no, it's it is weird. Okay, so and so then, like you say, so it followed suit. So the other 2 births were kind of similar and went swimmingly.
They went well. My third one was in the water as well, which was really cool.
Oh, that's really cool.
And that's what I'd sort of wanted to do the 2 times before, but it just hadn't happened. So I was like, come on, we know what we're doing now. We can make this work how we want it to work.
Amazing.
And God, I just feel mighty in childbirth. I don't know. I feel like totally invincible and so powerful, and it's really addictive
Totally.
if
Yeah.
you're lucky enough to have a good birth. Like,
That's
I
yeah.
know it's just, oh God, I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah. I know exactly what
Yeah.
you mean. It's like mad adrenaline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
No. Oh,
So
it's good though.
cool.
It's nice to hear positive, but of course,
Yeah, yeah,
obviously
sure.
appreciate that there's
Yeah. I say it knowing that I'm insanely lucky to have that story.
and
Yeah.
but okay, so then after having Toby, did you end up going back to work before you got pregnant again, or was it a quick? What's the age gap?
Yeah. So there's 3 years between each one, pretty
Okay.
much. There's 3.5, and then there's 3. So there are quite big gaps. Yeah. So I was on maternity from the National, but I was getting a lot of, because people didn't know, I was getting a lot of phone calls, and of course at that point, that's when it started to get really tough because I was like, I was established enough in the industry, but if I hadn't pushed myself back into work when I did, I
Mm,
don't think I'd have the career I have now.
sure.
But on the flip side, I went back way too early.
Right.
And I wish, it's my one and only regret is that I just, that first little while, I don't know, because I went back and did some dep work on a show when he was 10 weeks old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it messed with my head. I never felt fragility. I'd never felt, I was 25. I'd never
Oh,
felt anything other than just bumbling along in life, having a nice time.
yeah.
And just, I've got a great job, I've got a great partner, I've got a house in London, la, la, la.
Yeah.
And and suddenly the world was terrifying. And I thought that if I showed that I changed, I'd go back to work and go, oh, she's changed. Of course she bloody has.
Mm,
Now I'm like, of course you've changed for the better. But then I was like, I've got to prove that I'm exactly the same. It's a very physical job. If you can't lift those speakers like you used to be able to, if you can't rig that thing, if you can't, run up there or do that. And I was so hard on myself professionally for all the chill that I was as a mum, and I was a fairly relaxed mum. I was so hard on myself to get back to
oh,
work because it's such an word of mouth based job. I
yeah.
don't interview, I don't audition particularly.
Hmm.
You get your job through your last job or through other jobs and through contacts.
Yeah, sure.
It's that kind of world, and I was terrified of losing all of that.
Yeah.
So I did this step work when he was 10 weeks old. And I remember my dad had him actually back at the house. And I remember standing on Stratford East Station and going, I'm so scared of everybody. And getting home and just curling up in my dad's lap and having a cry.
Oh.
Because the world was suddenly like London. It was my London, my
Hmm.
city. And it was terrifying. And I
Yeah.
just wanted to be back in that bubble. But if I went back into that bubble, I'd never work again in my head. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
so messy. My head was so
I've
fragile.
never heard anybody say it like that, but yeah, the
Mm,
London, the city that I've always loved, I also felt
right?
exactly the same. Yeah,
Yeah.
and even like I found, I guess intrusive thoughts. I found my
Hmm.
brain. I know it all gets rewired after you give birth,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
my
yeah.
brain just completely took over a whole
Yeah.
new. I don't know,
It's a
the
different
vulnerable
narrative,
thing.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
completely.
Oh, mad. So, how long were you
Yeah.
doing that for? Was it just a few weeks?
It was depping for, I can't even remember. It was a couple of weeks on that show, but then I kept taking other little bit dribs and drabs.
Yeah,
And then what turned out to be an absolute blessing was Emma Rice took over artistic director at the Globe.
amazing.
And I knew a couple of the people who she was taking because she famously took lighting and sound with her. It was a non-technical theatre.
Right.
They had basic lighting, but they had none of it. And she went, no, we can put this in and make some really cool stuff, which she did. And it
Yeah.
didn't massively go down terribly well with the purists and with the people there, but she did some incredible work. And I ended up doing her 2 seasons.
Oh, wow.
And for the first season, I was a bit of cover here, a bit of cover there, and then the second season, I was far more involved. But that team of people at the Globe,
Mm.
there was one girl called Maddie who's off traveling the world and having a lovely time. The rest are all guys who are now all dads.
Oh,
And
okay.
and
Yeah.
at the time, one of them I think had a little baby, but none of them were parents at the time. But they became the people who pulled me out of that funk completely.
Oh, wow.
And now it's one of those things where if I see any of them, there's 4 or 5 of them. If I see any of them, it is just like, okay, I'm all right now. I'm
Yeah.
okay now.
Oh.
Because they literally pulled me out of the funk of what are you going to do with your life? Who are you? What are you? You can't be anything. And they didn't make me feel, oh, a young little 25-year-old with a baby trying to do a job. Oh, bless her,
Oh yeah.
And I love them dearly, and they'll be friends for life. And now they're all parents. So
Mm.
it just feels
Full
really
circle.
lovely. Yeah, full circle.
That's incredible, though. That's really special and important. I think getting those relationships and having people to be like, it's all right, you're here, you're one of us, let's just crack
Yeah.
on. It's okay.
So supportive,
Oh,
so support, but
amazing.
also felt like I was doing a good job as well. It
Hmm.
came, and I never felt there like I was being pitied.
Yeah.
I just was smashing the job and being at home and making it work both sides. And I'm very
Brilliant.
I'm very fond of those 2 summers.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
great gigs. I think I saw, was
yeah.
it Tristan and Isolde? I'm sure I saw only one of the Emma Rice ones.
Mm,
And I remember being like, oh my God, because it was
yeah,
all very new and fresh. And I know, again, like you say, purists had some issues with it, but it was
yes.
just unreal.
It was great. It was
Unreal.
great. They were like teenagers leaning on the front of the stage, like, wow, Shakespeare. It was
Yeah.
awesome. It was
Yeah.
so cool.
Well, what it's there to do,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
the Globe, I think, is there to.
It's there to inspire, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Oh, fun. That's amazing. So when you were working there, were you doing 8 shows?
No, so the fun thing is they did 13, so you do a different
Oh,
matinee to the
geez.
evening. So you'd rep between matinee and evening.
Right.
So
Okay, of
it'd be a
course.
13 show week, but you do, because the daylight shows are so different to watch than the evening shows.
Yeah.
You have to sort of fit as many evenings and matinees in. I don't really know the intricacies of why, but certainly we'd do one show for a matinee and then we'd spend 2 hours turning it around and then do a different production in the evening. I would
Yeah,
have all
okay.
the helicopters going over and
Bloody
all the
hell.
tour
Yeah.
guides, and it was
Madness.
wild. But I didn't do, because I wasn't, again, I was never a full-time member of staff there
Right.
because I had Toby at home. But I might as well have been. But it
Yeah.
meant I was slightly more flexible with
Yeah.
saying no, no, I can't do that day because of X, Y, and Z. Of course, they were all fine with it.
When your second came along, I
Mm,
feel like that then kind of maybe changes that, or the shift is then slightly different, because sometimes I think
for
with
sure.
one, it's a little bit easier. And
Yeah.
then with two, how did you make it work?
Well, so I mean, Toby, bless his heart, my first used to come and stay. Stage managers were great because I'd used to bring him with me to the West End theatres, and he'd be in the
Cool.
stage manager's office. Like, he was a proper little dressing room baby.
Oh,
And so
love
we
it.
knew it was proper cool. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was proper cool. But definitely two, we always knew that was never going to be the case with two. So we had Ollie, my second, September of 2019. So actually it was all taken out of our hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd already said, I'm gonna sit this one out. My career is established enough. Toby's in nursery, because trying to work out how to do a nursery schedule around theatre hours is awful. Anyway, so like, right, have another baby. He can have a normal schedule at nursery,
Yeah.
and I'll sit this one out for a year.
Okay.
And then COVID hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was kind of, I was still on maternity. He was 5 months old, so I was still getting maternity. Me and Paul were at home together for the first time ever, I
Yeah.
think.
Sure.
And we sort of, obviously we needed to find work, and obviously, but because I was still getting a bit of maternity pay and he was furloughed from his theatre once that came in, we just made the most of being at home.
Great.
And it was, we were in a we were in a 1-bedroom cottage because the
Oh.
plan was to have the baby and then move,
Oh, of
and then,
course.
and then couldn't
Yeah.
move. So we did COVID in this little 1-bed, like, converted barn.
Oh my God. Did you have a garden?
We had a really big garden. We shared
Perfect.
it with the other half of the barn, so it was kind of great. We had half this barn with our big old Labrador and our 2 children.
Oh God, that sounds
Like,
so
it
idyllic.
was proper cool. It
A
was
conversion
cramped.
barn.
I know. Don't
That's
live in
cool.
one of those anymore, because none
Oh.
of them are. We live in a very conventional house now.
Oh
But
yeah.
we moved out of London when our dog got too big for an apartment, basically, and we just
Okay.
happened to find this little house. So again, it was kind of cool, and we'd landed there, but we knew we had to move when we had our second baby,
Yeah.
and again, we couldn't. So we were like, okay,
Stuck.
let's just, hi, it's nice to see you again. Let's, do you know what I mean? We're
Yeah.
like ships in the night usually. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we kind of made the most of it. And obviously, it was a really hard time for all the reasons that it was, and we lost people, and it was sad. But the very basic core of the four of us being at home together, we really cherished that, and it was
Yeah.
really nice.
How
It was
lovely.
really nice.
And
Yeah.
then being so little and you just get to all
Yeah.
be together.
Yeah, because by
Yeah,
the
sweet.
second lockdown, we were homeschooling because he'd gone into reception. Toby had started school
Right.
in the middle. So picking a school was weird, and like starting a school was weird.
So weird. So starting
So
school
weird.
in September, how
Yeah.
did that did he even go in? I don't
So
even
he did by September, yeah. So he never graduated from nursery because that all
Right.
stopped early.
Yeah.
And I had to look around the schools on my own without Paul because only one of us could go. So that
Right,
was a
okay.
bit weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did go in. We just couldn't go in with him, I think. There was like this one-way system, and
Yeah.
we couldn't go into assemblies, and we couldn't do sports. It was all that sort of
Okay.
lack of interaction. But he did go, and then
Oh, bless him.
yeah,
That
we
must have
got
been
to
weird.
homeschool reception in the second lockdown. But the first lockdown was great because we had no response. How people did it with teenagers, I
I
don't know.
honestly, yeah,
I
I
don't
do not
know.
know.
Trying
Yeah.
to encourage them to be okay, it must have been so hard.
Yeah, must have been awful. Great. So then, well, I mean, obviously theatre then started to come back and life started to come back. And then did you
Yeah.
just get the itch, or I mean, you got a phone call or something?
Do you know what? I was because the other thing that I'd sort of been doing quite a lot of as part of that freelancing bit after having Toby is I did a lot of the radio mics for broadcast stuff.
Oh, cool.
So NT Live
Yeah.
and a lot of the Royal Opera House stuff. Because opera don't use radio mics, when they want to broadcast something, they bring a team of us in to radio mic it. So
Right.
I'd already sort of been in that world. So actually the pandemic for me brought in a little bit of good work because
That's a good
everyone wanted to
point.
film their shows.
Everything went online. Yeah.
Everything went online, and because Paul was at home, I could take these broadcast jobs. So I did I filmed Uncle Vanya, which was
Oh,
filmed
yeah.
in town,
Yeah.
and then I did the lovely Romeo and Juliet film from the National, which was
Amazing.
gorgeous, and just a couple of other bits because everyone needed it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, they did.
so actually, because I started doing that, it sort of it pitted back in. But as soon as the world reopened and Paul had got a job again, it went back to me going, I'm still not gonna, I'm gonna stay at home.
Yeah.
Toby's in school, and hospitality and what I do, just there was no way we could both work
Yeah.
without. We don't really have family locally, and to pay for childcare till like midnight would have been stupid.
So,
I sort of squashed my pride and went, okay, now is my moment to be at home and just be mum. And I really enjoyed it.
yeah.
Because I let myself. I just
Sure.
let myself enjoy it. And, our sacrifice was obviously financially, we were living as a one-wage household for years, and we really felt that pinch. But I think that was always the better option to us trying to juggle this what felt like a totally impossible task. And it's why I'm so sort of vocal about it now, because I don't think we ever found a solution other than one of us not working.
Hmm.
And because I can't do my job pregnant, I can't do my job after just having a baby. It's too physical.
Yeah.
Um, as long as I was still planning to have children, there was no point me being that full-time parent. And it was
Yeah.
lovely. So, we made that financial sacrifice in order to sort of have a calmer existence,
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. So then by the time you got pregnant with your third, were you back? What was the
No,
situation?
no,
No?
I was at home. We'd just moved. We'd sort of bumbled along for ages in our little house because we had the big garden. We were like, let's just, and because we'd gone
Yeah.
down to one wage, we were like, let's just stay here. It's nice. We've got nice neighbours.
Yeah.
We're sort of making it work. It's a beautiful house, even if it's too small. And then it just wasn't. There were two very, very energetic boys running around the house, and we're like,
Yeah.
right, now's the time.
Okay.
And I was getting the itch to go back to work, and I was getting the itch to have my final baby. I knew it would be the last one. Um, Most of me knew it would be the last one. And
I know
so
none
we
of us can ever
moved,
say. Can't
right?
confirm.
Honestly,
Yeah.
if I had a bigger car and a bigger house now, I would
Uh,
probably. But
yeah.
yeah, we moved and we sort of went hilariously. we've never really tried for a baby before. We
Okay.
had, Toby was a happy accident, and Ollie, we'd sort of gone, yeah, okay, this would be great. But again, we know it was sort of unexpected and
Yeah.
unplanned,
Sure.
and it was lovely. So we were like, I really actually want to try because
Hmm.
we've never done this before, and my God, it happened so quickly. Okay. As I say, it's something that I really hold very close to my heart and know that I'm so lucky. But we'd still got moving boxes
Yeah.
everywhere, and
Yeah.
and but it just felt right, It just felt right.
Yeah.
It just felt right, and it was lovely. And because I still wasn't really working, the odd freelancing, the odd hit thing here and there, I'd sort of got into this routine of, I do the school run, I do the
Yeah.
cricket club, I've got my children, and it just we were still making it work with one of us at work and one of us at home. Um,
It's nice you could settle in as mum, like you
yeah,
say. You
I think it's a really tricky one because I don't want to make it out like it was really easy because actually making that choice to sit off that one side of me. I have always been maternal, but I've also been very career driven
hmm
always. And
Okay.
when I got into this world, I worked so much and, sod the work-life balance. I worked every hour and I love my job. And I've been very vocal and very cross at times about how impossible it is to do both. And the only reason I was able to sit happily in motherhood was because I was able to be vocal about how pissed off I was. And I know that doesn't quite make sense, but I was finding kindred spirits and going, why is this so hard? Why is this so hard? But there weren't enough of us. And
Yeah.
I sort of picked people and I found mums along the way going, I can't make this work. I can't find the solution. But most of them were performers. And obviously, I've listened to all your wonderful women that you've had on here, and my
Oh
God, I
gosh.
don't know how they juggle performing and motherhood. I don't know how any of you do that. But I'd
Oh.
never found someone in my position, sort of on that technical side, for ages because I was so young. And then I found the dads, but I never found the mums for
Okay.
ages and ages.
That's what I was going to say. So, is there anyone in your field that you know that's been a mum?
I do now. I
Okay.
do
Yeah.
now. There are a little handful of us. I've got one particular mum friend who she has one daughter, but we are the two that can look at each other and know the struggle without having to say anything.
Yeah.
We worked together for 6 months at the National this year, and she had to leave because of her caring responsibilities. She had
Yeah.
a mum to care for, she had a child to care for, and couldn't make it work even there. But it was that beautiful sort of brutality of walking in and going, I've only had 2 hours sleep. And she'd go, yeah, mum was up all night. Oh my God. And no one else, even if you're, I don't know, I don't think there is anything that can compare to that other than just having someone in exactly the same position as you.
Completely.
Um,
Because also, it's a
yeah.
difficult one to talk about, I think, because a guy asked me last week, one of the guys in the show said, so how much sleep did you actually get last night, Kim? And
Oh God.
unless you've got kids, but I don't want to sound like I'm just moaning. I don't want to go in because we
Yeah.
hadn't even been talking about it. So I don't want to be like, oh, classic mum. And I was like, well, since you've asked, like,
Yeah.
and I was like, we probably had an hour and a half, then one woke up, then an hour and a half, then another one woke up, and then maybe 3 hours after that. But I'm like, but you're used to it and it's fine and we can live off that. But for him hearing it, he's like, what the fuck are you talking
How?
about? But
Yeah.
you're just like, but we just do it and it's fine. Or it's
Yeah.
not fine, I'm
Yeah.
knackered. But it
Yeah.
was just funny him just saying, he was like, can I just ask how much sleep did you actually get? Whereas
Yeah.
with another mum, you both know, even when it's good and even when it's okay, you still know. You
You
can just
just
say,
know, don't
you
you?
look at each other and you're like, I know.
Right, right. Or
Yeah.
just a certain little, like a new phase that your child has come into that
Yeah.
is particularly difficult or
Yeah.
anything like that. And she'd come in and she'd say something about her little girl, and I'd be like, yeah, okay, right, what do you need from me today? How can
Yeah.
I help you? How can I help you through this? Let's go get tea. And people got sick of hearing us, but it was so liberating to
Oh my God.
just vocalize it all in the workplace.
Yeah.
It was so great because as I say, I've been so loud about how hard this is with no solutions. Just, is anyone with me? How can we talk about this? Let's talk about job shares. Let's talk about flexible. Let's find a solution because it's killing us out there.
Oh, it's
And then
amazing
suddenly
that you have.
I really do. And I really want to find those other people who can sort of pair up and go, yeah, I feel it too.
Yeah.
And
I'm with
it
you.
was so lovely. Yeah, totally. Well, this is why when I messaged you, I was like, how have I never heard your podcast
It's
before?
only just come about,
Because
but yeah.
it's really great. But
Uh,
I think if you've got that one person, it solves everything because you can go about your workday knowing that you've sort of got a bit of backup.
Totally.
Even if
Yeah.
you don't need it, it's just nice to have it, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know?
Just do you know what? I've had a message. Someone was saying that when she first gave birth years ago, she didn't want to tell anybody because she's like, I don't want to
Oh,
speak about it. I don't want people to know that I've had a baby because I'm scared people are going to treat me differently after
yeah.
having a kid. And now it's fine. She's grown up. But I thought, God, that's so interesting. So I can't imagine that feeling of not only have you had this huge life change, but you're going to work and you don't even want to talk about it
You
at
don't
all.
talk
And you don't want
about
to tell
it.
people you've even got a kid. I mean, oh, that must be so difficult.
It must be
Um,
really hard, mustn't
I
it?
don't know. Everyone's got their own journey and everyone's trying to,
For sure. Yeah,
do what
yeah.
they can. But I did think with that, like, fucking hell, like, oh, it's tough. It's tough.
It is tough.
Yeah, I suppose with you, you're like, let's just go a step at a time and try and
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm quite happy where I am now, to be honest. This
yeah,
feels like a nice place to sit for a while. I've got nothing to prove. I've
yeah,
got a job that is fulfilling enough professionally to sort of to scratch that itch.
yeah,
But again, the sacrifice is we are still a one income household,
yeah.
and but that's just how it has to be, I
Uh,
think. I don't have any other I don't have any other I don't know, lead really. I don't know how else to do it. I don't know how
no,
else to juggle it.
that's the thing. It's so hard to know. Like, I don't know the solution, like you say.
Why I wanted to shout about this national plan, because
Yeah,
I don't know where else you would get someone go, well, tell me what you need. Tell
it's
me what you
incredible.
need and we'll make it work. I mean, that lovely story of the Emma Rice
With
Wuthering
Steph.
Heights with
Yeah,
Steph, yeah.
yeah.
I was just like, yes, this is so brilliant.
But what's funny is
That
as she's saying it, my mouth was dropping open. And my friends that messaged me saying, that is mad. I can't believe that
yeah,
happened. I'm like, I
yeah,
know that all of us are in total shock. But
yeah,
I'm so glad to share the stories because they are happening and they do
completely.
exist. So it's good to amplify that. But there's obviously not enough of it. And most people don't know about it. People don't know that it's
No,
happening.
exactly.
And people are too afraid to ask for
I
it.
was going to say they're not brave enough to ask. I think you've
Yeah.
got to go in bold enough to go, no, I am worth having.
Yeah.
I am the person that you need on this.
Yeah.
But there are compromises, and those compromises are so valid, but you'll still get a good, in my case, it's still good get a good engineer out of it. I will still do everything you require of me for
Yeah.
that job, and I will then pass it on to capable people so I can go home and be with my family.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you don't say it
Totally.
out loud, no one will think of it.
Yeah.
But when you have, suddenly it's really workable and really manageable.
Totally. Yeah, I think you're
Yeah,
absolutely right. No one's going to think it up, but it's got to
yeah,
be the mums coming in to say it, I guess. But
yeah,
again, a bit like
definitely.
Lauren Hall says, it shouldn't just be parents, it should just be flexible working. It should just be kind of part of the conversation, really.
Well, this is it, isn't it? I was like, how nice would it be if you thought about a work-life balance before you actually needed it? To
Yeah.
go, no, actually, I was talking to someone the other day actually who they don't have any caring responsibility, but it was like, I like only working 10 days in a row and then I take 2 off.
Yeah.
It's like, what a novel idea.
Yeah.
Because I only really thought about it when I needed to be at home or I
Yeah.
needed to be somewhere else. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, just putting those boundaries in place so my mental health is better.
Yeah.
I'm well rested just because that's how it should be.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
a weird concept.
Totally.
I think especially, it's slightly different on my side of the curtain because to be a freelancer doesn't mean to take a 6-month job or take a performing role for X amount of weeks. It could be a one-day event. It could be a festival. It could be, my freelancing could be a day or 3 days or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So sort of take control of that and go, yes, I will do that 5-day recording job in Stratford, and then I will go and travel straight onto this other place for 3 days, but then I'm not going to take anything for 5 days. I'm going to
Yeah.
go home. So you as a freelancer particularly, you can take control of that a little bit,
Yeah. Yeah.
because you're
Yeah.
not having to sign up to 6 months or
Yeah, you're
6 weeks or
tied to
whatever
it
it
for
is.
such a
Yeah,
length of time sometimes.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's cool. That's a good way
Yeah,
of doing it. So
yeah.
so just going back to when you so you'd had all three and you had the conversation with your husband and you were like, right, I want to go back. It's going to be me. It's going to be me. Were you, and that is when you went back full time. So
Yeah.
how long were you full time until you had the conversation with the National?
So we sort of went, look, this is ridiculous. You're doing the job that you've been doing since the pandemic, which was necessary at the time, but
Yeah.
you're not seeing the kids, and it's not what you want to be doing. And I'm getting these phone calls and these emails, and I'm just saying no to them all. Like, this is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I did. That was November 24 when I got the call from the National, and then I've been there since, and now this week is the start of the flexi. So
Oh,
I've been
really?
full time. Yeah. This is it.
Oh,
This
great.
is it. The prepping the Oliviers was my first week of
Oh, I see. I
the
didn't know if
new
it was like
plan.
the last project, but this is the beginning.
No,
Oh,
this is the
great.
beginning. So yeah,
How's it been going? Good week?
I mean, my God, there've been mums on the school run going, I can't remember when I last saw you. And
Yeah,
it's like, no,
totally.
it's because it's been quite literally months, actually.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I bought my kids ice cream after school from the ice cream van, and then we went to the swings, and I watched my son do his karate class, and I thought,
Mm,
this is what it is,
yeah.
and
The simple
we're
pleasures.
it is, yeah,
Yeah,
it's lovely just driving around with my daughter chopsing away in the back of the car. I just thought, yeah,
totally.
okay, I've made the right choice here.
But it's great because
Yeah.
you're getting that balance because you're still back in
Mm.
your world as well.
Yeah,
Doing a bit of
yeah,
everything, doing the
yeah.
Oliviers casually,
Yeah,
as you do.
yeah, as you do, yeah. But it's
Oh,
nice because it means I can take a little bit, because the National, it's wonderful, but it's open show, do show, open show, do show, and there's these other little bits of the broadcast stuff which I still like doing, and the fit ups. I like all the physical stuff of actually putting stuff into a theatre as well.
oh, really?
And
Good for
yeah, I
you.
really do, yeah. And so this flexible contract means I can take a little bit of that on the side, which the National are really cool about their staff taking freelance work and sort of developing their careers elsewhere.
Oh,
So
brilliant.
I'm doing a few of the Choir of Man tour moves,
Oh,
and
cool.
which is really cool. And I'm going back up to Stratford upon Avon for a couple of the broadcast things, and I
Nice.
don't know. So it's a proper balance, because it's all the
Yeah.
balance within my professional life, and then in the middle I get to be at home, but I also get to choose how I do it.
Yeah.
So as long as I
Oh,
make those days at the National, as long as I make sure I commit to those Wednesdays and Saturdays, and I know that
yeah.
May is a write-off because Warhorse is opening and all that sort of stuff,
Right.
the rest of the time me and Paul can sort of figure out. And if he wants to go back to work, he could maybe do something, or
Yeah.
it feels far more flexible. And by this time next year, we'll be getting ready to have all three kids in school, and then it can all change again.
Yeah. And then you get pregnant. I'm joking.
No, I'll be back on the phone in a year going, no, you called it.
Yeah. Oh, Lucy, you've
Yeah.
nailed it. You've absolutely smashed it. Like, you've really got the best of all worlds there, it seems,
It's been a very, very rocky road. I don't feel
Yeah.
like I've done the rocky path justice, to be honest, because I am by default quite chill and sort of, well, we'll see what happens. But unfortunately, that then leads to things that you didn't see coming because you didn't
Yeah.
plan for it.
Ugh.
But actually, I think if this works, this is going to work, and
Yeah.
it's all through me and Paul working it out, and sort of working out what is best for home,
Yeah.
but also being able to do what I, you know, have worked very hard to be able to do.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
I
great.
don't know.
And
And
that
he's a really
he's,
lovely stay-at-home dad. Like, I
yeah.
have it's much easier going off to work knowing that your kids are with good people.
Yeah.
And even going back originally in that November, not once did I leave thinking, oh, my poor babies. Or, it was
Yeah.
just a pleasure to see them all together at home.
Yeah.
So it was really nice.
Oh, that's really lovely. An
Yeah.
amazing setup. Worked
Yeah,
hard for
I
it,
hope
but
so.
it's
You
all,
worked
yeah.
hard for it, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think we possibly figured it out for now. Anyway.
Yes. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Ooh,
Oh,
who
God.
thought?
I know you don't want to say it. Don't say
I
it
know,
out loud.
I'm touching wood.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, it's amazing. So have you got a career highlight? Is there one? It's too hard because you've got
Ooh,
so many amazing. It must be so difficult because you've got so many.
it's really eclectic. To be honestly, I know it sounds really cheesy. The fact that I'm still here and working
Yeah.
is the career highlight,
Yeah.
because there are so many points where I could have just been forgotten, and there are so many young, brilliant engineers. Because I was at the National, 12 years ago, a lot of them came in as work experience, and now they're designers and production engineers and
Sure.
number ones, and they're all brilliant. And I'm so replaceable, and yet I haven't been, and I feel like that's pretty great, actually. I'm very proud of
Oh,
that.
absolutely. Great
Yeah.
answer. Yeah. To still
Yeah.
be here. But it's
Yeah,
so
to
true.
still be here. I haven't
Yeah.
given up yet, because
Yeah.
again, the industry has lost so many amazing female sound engineers. Honestly, I
Okay.
could list so many brilliant women who could be running the world, the
Yeah,
sound
I
world,
bet.
and aren't, because they've made the right choice, which is to be there for their children.
Yeah.
Um, and but yeah, God, the people that this industry could have if the balance was there is mind blowing, actually.
Okay.
Mm,
And I mean, this is a bit of a lame question, but I throw
go
it out
on.
there anyway. Do you have a parenting highlight? Is there a moment where you're like, you know,
I mean, I'm proud of them all. Like,
mm,
because there's 3-year age gaps, all of them are always going to be in different periods of their life.
yeah.
Particularly at the minute, 3, 6, 10 is like, whoa, different, different,
Whoa.
different, different.
God, good
Yeah,
for you, mate.
right.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
impressive.
ridiculous, ridiculous. But I think watching them all fall into who I can see they're going to be is
Mm.
really fun. I don't know, it's just my parenting highlight is just sort of sitting back and observing them and
Yeah.
going, "Oh, you're really cool. You're really cool." There's not one particular moment that I
Yeah.
would pick out necessarily, but if I see them in their element, that makes me really happy.
Yeah.
And I'm getting to see it more now because I'm actually here. So
Yeah.
so it's a
Great.
bit of a win.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you're like, okay, I need to get this off my chest? Or you're like,
Oh,
it's so
probably
hard.
so much. Oh my God, so much that I haven't said. Think honestly, if you are doing some sort of juggle, and particular motherhood, because it is so, so hard to juggle in this industry. Like, and I can't even think of a comparison in any other. I can't think of anything that, because you're the physicality of this world and the way that your body has to heal from childbirth and pregnancy, and I just think it would be really lovely if we spoke to each other more
Yeah.
and reached out to each other more. And it is happening. There are events happening and people are talking, and there's two really wicked WhatsApp groups called Sound Queens and Sister Soundies, and there's hundreds of us on
Oh,
there. And
wow.
the ones that are mums sort of do jump on each other a little bit and sort of do a bit of bigging up, but they're really cool WhatsApp groups. But I think that if you are a new mum in this industry, God, just talk about it and go and
Yeah.
find the others, because we are everywhere,
Yeah.
but we're dropping like flies, and I don't think we have to. Tell your employers what you need, and a lot of the time, whether they actually want to, which most do, or whether they want to tick that all important inclusivity box,
Yeah.
either way it could work out for you, right?
Yeah.
And so it would be really lovely if people did just speak about it and go, I can be really good for you if you make this work for me, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really good at multitasking. We're really good at working
This
tired.
is it.
We've
Yeah.
got a whole bundle of skill sets that you don't learn any other way.
Yeah.
I think they're actually quite valuable to employers.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely right. Thank you so much. Good
You're
for you
very
for shouting
welcome.
about it. It's so good because it's people
Oh, I
like
will
you.
keep shouting.
But this is it. It's by shouting about it is the only way that,
I think you
people
have
know.
to.
And yeah.
Yeah,
And now you've got this
yeah.
amazing job.
I
Like,
know,
it's
I
so
know.
great
It's
to
kind
hear.
of worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of worked. And I was so very, very alone in it when I started. Like, I was
Yeah.
so young and so on my own with what I was in the industry,
Mm.
that that can't happen anymore. And I don't think it will, because it's a more conscious industry now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want anyone to feel like they're on their own on it, because God, we're all worth it. Without sounding too cliche, we're all
No,
very, very worth
absolutely.
being here. So
Oh,
yeah.
brilliant. Oh, thank you so much, Lucy.
Thank
Appreciate the
you.
chat. Thank you so
It's been
much.
a
Right.
pleasure.